Hello everyone, Jesterbell aka Female Frodo Baggins is here, and after a very crazy summer at the movies, one of the craziest where we had two YouTuber movies do really well, and then we had other things like the Moana live action remake absolutely bomb, and Disclosure Day, and the Odyssey discourse, and then that movie is making all the money at the box office despite all the discourse online about it. We have finally come to our last movie of the summer, Spider-Man Brand New Day. And this movie was
Why are you saying despite the discourse when you were a contributing factor to that? And discourse wasn't even that important. Not even that important. It wasn't important at all. You were just making up stuff, just spreading things that are like that were rumors and that was like some stuff that stayed rumors. What is this like despite the discourse? Yeah, you don't care. You don't care.
a bit different for me than any of the other movies. With a lot of movies this year, I've been able to predict pretty far in advance how I was going to feel about them. I didn't initially expect to have anything against the Odyssey until we started to get closer to it.
Why are you? Well, I know why. Because your audience is filled with a bunch of fucking retards. Ugh. Like you went into like all of these movies thinking it was gonna be the worst. You had the most like negative opinion about these things that you didn't see, you didn't look into, you don't care about, you knew nothing about them. Yet you say this.
See more trailers, and then I decided, I don't think that it's going to be for me. I don't think that it's going to be good. And then, I always knew that the Moana live action remake and Disclosure Day were going to be terrible. But, you know, um, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spider-Man Brand New Day has been a movie that I haven't
You knew it was gonna be for you, yet you still talked about it.
been able to predict either way. The first trailer, I actually wasn't feeling as much as I had wanted to, and I did a video on that. And then the second trailer really won me over, and it convinced me that this was going to be like a big, event for the summer. And this movie is going to make so much money. Like, it apparently is going to make almost $1 billion in its opening weekend, which we haven't seen a movie do that since I think no Way Home and Avengers Endgame. I think that this is going to be number two to only Avengers Endgame. So, regardless of whatever happens with this movie, it is going to make all the money. I am predicting $2 billion. If Zootopia 2 can almost get to $2 billion, I think that this one can, especially since there's not going to be a lot in the theaters in the coming months. But yeah, I was really hoping, after that second trailer, that this movie was going to be like a movie that I would really, really enjoy and really, really be entertained by. And it still might be. But there were still, some red flags in it. Like, for example, how much seemed to be in the trailers, how much they seemed to be implying without us being able to figure out a full story. And to the credit of the marketing, I was not able to fully figure out the entire story of this movie.
When your whole criticism is all or nothing, it's not a criticism.
Now we're getting some indication from the reviews, and this is not a video to spoil anything, but I do want to talk about some things. Now, once again, I really hope that this movie is good, and this is just like my sort of pre-show talk about it. I'm gonna see it tomorrow and then my review the following day.
Wow. You really hope it's good? You don't say. You truly don't say. What a fucking retard.
But the reviews have come out, and I'm a bit concerned from some of the things that I'm hearing that I once again just wanted to talk about in this pre-show. Now, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, the review score right now, last I checked,
Hear,
says
hear, hear that part
91%
again. Hear that part again. Hear it. Hear it.
of pre-show talk about it. I'm gonna see it tomorrow and then my review the following day. But the reviews have come out, and I'm a bit concerned from some of the things that I'm hearing that I once again just wanted to talk about in this pre-show. Now, if you look on Rotten,
A bit concerned from some of the things.
Tomatoes, the review score right now, last I checked, says 91%. Now, that's pretty excellent, and that's what you want for a superhero film. There was a moment there where I saw it dip as low as 87%, which is still good. It's not necessarily like ideally, if you want like a big blockbuster like this, I think you would want in the 90%, but like it bounced up from there and is now at 91% last I checked. So that sounds great, right? It sounds like everyone is enjoying it. Well, a percentage on Rotten Tomatoes is only going to tell you so much of the story, because a percentage is only aggregating how many of the reviews were overall positive. It doesn't get into the nuances in those reviews. And even a 7 out of 10 can still count as a positive review on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm reading a lot of these reviews. And once again, I want Spider-Man Brand New Day to be really good. I want us to have a great Spider-Man.
And those nuances, I bet what the nuances takes are her jester over here.
A great superhero movie, and for them to keep up that character. But there were things in the reviews themselves that almost seemed to affirm some of my fears about this movie. Now, what they are saying is good about it is that they're saying that the action is fantastic, and I think that the action already looks great from the trailers. Have high expectations for that, and they seem to really like what is going on with Peter Parker personally, and they seem to tease, and I think that we've gotten this in the trailers, and we'll see how it comes about in the movie, that Tom Holland is trying to portray Peter Parker in a much more mature way than what we've seen. So all of that sounds good. But then they brought up some of the concerns that I've been having. Number one, a lot of these reviews that I've been seeing say that the movie is overstuffed. One of the reviews said that it's like there's two movies in it. And that was my big fear, because for years now, like, this has been a problem with Sony, is that especially in the later movies, it's like it's so difficult for them to just say that this needs to be a Spider-Man movie. He needs one villain, or maybe two villains at best. Like, they did this with Spider-Man 3, they did this with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, is for whatever reason, they just keep pushing so many characters and so many plot lines in Spider-Man movies. Like once again, Sam Raimi wanted to do just sort of his smaller tale of forgiveness with Sandman and Spider-Man 3. Another producer wanted Venom to be in that movie, and then they had to wrap up the Green Goblin stuff, and that's why that movie became such a mess. And then Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's like they decide, let's have 6 movies colliding into one, and that's what that destroyed that film. And that's what I've been concerned about with this Spider-Man film, is they've announced so many villains for it, Spider-Man villains, so many characters, so many things happening, that even though I thought the second trailer looked good from an action standpoint, it still wasn't fully coming together in my mind about like what is the overall story going to be, and is that going to be really good. So that is a bit of a concern for me. But here is where the greater concern comes in. Now, the reviews, once again, they are overall positive and recommending this film and saying that it's a great time. But what concerns me is the area in which the reviews are saying that it is overstuffed. Now, This is where we might be getting into spoiler territory. I think I'm talking about spoilers that have already been out there for months, but I'm just putting it out there in case you just want to go in blind for this film. They have indicated that what really seems to take away from this movie being over, make it overstuffed and all of that, they've indicated it has to do with the villain of the film and who that villain is. And that villain, it.
Roy Cooper's been in politics 40 years.
Move on with it. Oh my god. Move on with ads. I don't care about these ads. Okay, well, I'll talk about this so far. Right there, on like the whole Sony aspect, that's not even things that I would say I disagree with. I do think that there have been aspects the way Sony has been making his movies where like I would have my own problems with. So yeah. I'll point out things that are positive, but I'm really pointing out things that are negative straight up. Because these people are garbage, are cancerous to this world. So yeah.
Is a certain character, let's say, that may or may not have been talked on here before, that is going to tie in to what Marvel wants to do with its mutant saga. And once again, that was a huge concern for me going into this, and I'm worried that these reviews affirmed that. That I was concerned that, Spider-Man is a character that is like one of the few characters we have left that is a guaranteed sell at the box office, that people are generally happy with. He generally has good material, and there's still an understanding of that character there. And I got worried that this Spider-Man movie, that once again is going to make all the money at the box office. My theater is packed. Like, there was an early screening that I couldn't get into because it was already completely sold out. Like, there is it's sold out everywhere. My concern was that the MCU, the Kevin Feige aspect of this movie, would be trying to hijack this guaranteed hit Spider-Man movie and promote his own stuff in it. Which seems to be confirmed because it has been confirmed, and I don't think this is really a spoiler, that Yelena Belova, that character everyone loves, sarcasm, she's going to make a cameo because Kevin Feige has been trying to push her hard as like the new leading female of the MCU, which really annoys.
Guaranteed? Remember that part she said guaranteed? Go back to the beginning of my video or her video. What a fucking waste. What a waste.
But I'll talk about it more in my review. But like, that's what I mean. Stuff like that. I was worried that this movie would be Kevin Feige trying to hijack a Spider-Man.
So you're going to talk about it more in your review when you're not even fucking... Like, why are you going so like this mindset when you don't fucking know? People do this in all fucking aspects of life. What the fuck is wrong with you? Get fucking help. Get help.
Movie and try to use it to set up things and make up for lost time of these other movies that have been failing for him, not setting these things up. In this case, it sounds like he is using this movie to set up the mutants. And, that once again really frustrates me because what I'm enjoying from the trailers is I'm enjoying just getting a Spider-Man movie where it seems like Tom Holland is at least doing his best to imitate the traditional version of Spider-Man, and he's going to fight, some classic characters from the comics, like the Hulk is going to be traditional Hulk, and the Punisher and stuff like that. And it's like, that's what I wanted. I wanted just this simple Spider-Man movie that's going to be a good time, that's going to get the core of his character. I don't need it to be groundbreaking. I don't need it to be the best movie ever made. I just want it to be an entertaining Spider-Man movie. But that is something that could bring it down for me a bit. And it sounds like this is the number one criticism that I'm seeing in reviews, that this movie has stuffed too much in, with even some people saying it feels like it's setting things up rather than being its own film. So that is a concern for me going into this, is I want to enjoy Spider-Man. I don't want it to branch out and be all this other stuff. But here is the other concern with
The thing that Jester was talking about like a minute ago, like, not true. Not true. Don't believe it. Don't believe it on her end. It's not true.
Those rumors and the rumors that the actual plot of this movie, the villain plot, has to do with mutants. We know, and I'm going to be light, and once again, spoilers here. If I haven't seen the film yet, this is just me going off of what I've known for months and what is being more confirmed by the reviews of this movie. There's a certain character that Sadie Sink is playing. I think most people have guessed who it is. And what I have heard from the reviews, let's just say, seems to put her in the role of, the person who is causing the problems in this movie. It seems to be putting her in a vilified role, which is going to significantly change this character from the comics. And that's what I'm also seeing in a lot of reviews. And, as a specific negative, even as people are overall positive for this movie, the specific negative is how they did this character and how they've changed who she is. Now, let me tell you this. I love Spider-Man. I am even more a bigger fan of the X-Men. And if this movie does anything to assassinate an X-Men character or vilify the X-Men as they have been wrongfully portrayed for years now, even if the rest of the movie, as a Spider-Man movie is good and entertaining, I can very much see that if they do anything to drastically change or assassinate a major X-Men character, let's just say that, then I think that could drastically affect my opinion and my experience with the film because I'm so emotionally attached to those characters.
It's not inherently bad to switch things from comics. I don't know why you don't fucking understand this. Get fucking help. Get help. Or fuck off because you are a cancer to everything in this fucking universe.
And this is nothing against Sony and their handling of Spider-Man. I have to watch the movie to see how they've handled Spider-Man, but I do not like how Kevin Feige is getting his hands on these classic Marvel characters and changing them and ruining them and hijacking a Spider-Man film in order to do that. So I just wanted to give people, I guess, a heads up going into this movie. Once again, the reviews for this are overall positive, but a lot of reviews are saying that
You didn't speak no truth. You didn't say anything relevant. You didn't say anything that no one didn't know or no one could do like a 2-second search and find what you said and things you didn't say. You're not special.
this is an entertaining movie with a lot of flaws. And I might think that those flaws, are even more egregious than a lot of these reviewers do. Or it might be that my experience with this film, maybe like the Spider-Man aspects are really good, but maybe it gets brought down with these other greater MCU aspects brought in. But that's just what I wanted to say very quickly as sort of a pre-show for this Spider-Man movie is I'm a bit concerned. Are we going to get the Spider-Man movie that we all wanted and that's just an entertaining time and is completely separate from the rest of the MCU? Or is it going to be actually a mess of a movie that everyone enjoys initially and it's only later that people look back and they see all the flaws? Is this going to be one of those movies that like makes a lot of money but people are only willing to criticize it later and then the studio learns all the wrong lessons from it or doesn't learn the right lessons? We will see. Once again, I still am wanting to go into this movie with optimism. I still want to believe that it's going to be a great time. I'm sure the theater is going to be packed and it's going to be filled with Marvel fans that are there to have a great time. I hope that there is a lot of good in this movie, but I'm just a little bit trepidatious on how it is being used in the greater MCU. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any of my concerns or if you are just as excited for this movie as everyone else seems to be, please consider becoming a member or a patron if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.